Ira Thor, Assistant Director of Athletics at New Jersey City University and CoSIDA, Academic All-America New Media Committee member. And today, we are joined by Nick Matteucci of Washington University in St. Louis. He's a member of their men's track and field and cross-country teams, a senior distance runner from DeParis, Missouri and Parkway South High School. He is your 2020 NCAA Division III men's track and field and cross-country academic All-American of the Year. Nick, congratulations to you. After being selected as a CoSIDA first-team academic All-American 3 times, 2018, 2019, and now again in 2020, what was your reaction when you learned not only are you a first-team academic All-American again, but you are the prestigious academic All-American of the Year for all of Division III?
It's a huge honor. The fact of the matter is I've known some of the people who have won this award before, and there's been previous people on the women's side of our school who have won it, and I look up to these people. I see them in a very high regard. So to be considered in the same light as them is a huge honor. And then also just gratitude. You know, when you can't do something like this alone. My parents, who've been my supporters since the very beginning, coaches and teammates, I mean, they make it possible. And without them, this isn't possible. Just extreme gratitude that I had the opportunities, the experiences, and just was placed in a position where I could win something like this. There's so many things that I've been privileged to have in my life. And so, just to be in this position, I'm just super grateful.
Love that answer. Love that answer. So with the school as renowned and respected as WashU, there's really not a lot of firsts left to achieve, but you have accomplished one. You're the first academic All-American of the Year in WashU men's track and field history, the first one. What does that accomplishment mean to you?
It really means a lot because looking back on our team and seeing where it's come from under the leadership of Coach Stiles and under the different, captains and seniors and alumni from before, it's just so cool to be a part of that legacy. And I truly believe that, the work that a lot of the people before me put in allowed for this to be achieved. So I see it as kind of a recognition of a lot of the people who came before, who put in the hard work, who, helped make the program and the culture and the family that we have at WashU what it is. And without them, I don't believe it would have been possible to achieve this. And so while it's a huge honor to be the first, I think it's really more of a testament to the program as a whole. And it's cool to be the one who gets to have that. But I'm so proud to be a part of that legacy.
Well, that leads directly into my next question. We just mentioned you're the first ever academic All-American of the Year for WashU men's track and field. How special has it been for you to compete for WashU, and what does the institution mean to you?
Oh, it means so much. Coach Stiles is really, he's an incredible mentor, an incredible leader, but even more so in just an incredible person. He cares about every single person on that team, regardless of how they perform, regardless of, what they achieve on the track or on the cross-country course. He is just an incredible person who also happens to be a wonderful coach who knows how to, get the most out of athletes and but make a family too. And I think that's where a lot of our successes come, is in this idea that we're not competing for individual titles or trophies. And while they're fun when they come along, we're ultimately in it for the team. And we want to culminate a really awesome culture and a family dynamic that, is more important than any individual accomplishment one can get. Because while they're fun and cool and all, the family aspect and the community aspect is really what makes things so special. And so I've just been so grateful to have had the time I had at WashU. And while it ended in a little bit of an unusual way, I'm just so grateful to have had any of that, because it's truly been an incredible experience that I couldn't have asked for and didn't even know was possible really before coming on to the team.
Well, you are an 11-time All-American, 2 times in cross country, 5 times in indoor track, and 4 times in outdoor track, and likely would have added even more All-America awards to that this year had the indoor and outdoor championships not been canceled due to the pandemic. What are you most proud of that you've accomplished either on the track or the course during your WashU career?
To me, the most the thing that I think there's a lot of really cool awards, and I'm so honored to have been to be able to have all those. But I think the one that really stood out to me was this year I was given an award for impacting lives and a leadership award from our school. And to me, that meant a lot because that was really what I was hoping to do. You know, I wanted to be someone who could help out our team, who left it better than I found it, because I came to a place where the upperclassmen and the seniors were so influential and so wonderful and just great people who helped us when we were trying to figure things out as freshmen and sophomores, and who instilled just this love for each other and this family dynamic that was just beautiful. So to me, that having that people feel like I had left an impact and that I had been a leader that had imparted something worthwhile, and that really meant a lot, because that was something, winning an All-American, I mean, that's fun and all, and getting to, be recognized as an Elite 90 award winner. I mean, I'm hugely honored to have had those, but ultimately being considered a strong leader who impacted lives, like that to me is ultimately what it's all about.
So we'll move on to our next question, and you actually led right into it, which is the Elite 90 award winner. You're a 3-time Elite 90 award winner, 2 times for men's outdoor track and field, and 1 time in men's cross country this past fall. You're only the 4th student athlete in NCAA Division III history to win this award 3 times. For those who are not aware, the Elite 90, that's presented to the student athlete who's got the highest cumulative grade point average participating at the finals of each site of the NCAA's 90 championships. So you have a perfect, flawless 4.00 GPA while competing as one of the best in the country in your sport. Can you kind of take us through an average day in your life as a student athlete and how you're able to stay so laser focused on everything?
I truly believe it's finding what you love and pursuing that. So to me, I think I've kind of identified some of the things I'm really passionate about. One of which is obviously running, and the other of which is my academics. And I found that the subject area, chemical engineering, that I studied was just really fascinating to me, and the applications in particular that you could apply from those ultimately just got me really excited. And I love science, I love math, and so getting to find these things that I love and then do them with the people I love. So there's a bunch of people on our team who were also chemical engineers in my year, which was just kind of random. And then just a lot of people that I know and love on the cross country and track team. So I'm doing the things I love with the people I love. And so I think that makes it more achievable. So when I'm working on something each day, it's a labor of love per se. And that doesn't mean that there weren't challenging times and I didn't need help and that there wasn't times where it was hard. But on the whole, I would say my experience was very positive. It didn't feel like I was, really struggling to try to, put in everything. It was, I loved what I was doing, and I got to be around just incredible people every day and pursuing really awesome things. So, well, it did require a lot of, focus and, prioritizing what was really most important, and sometimes having to, put things off that might have sounded fun but weren't a priority. Ultimately, it was not that hard to do when you're doing what you love. And so I'm just so grateful to have found that nice combination of and balance of finding things I love, people I love, and getting them to kind of be one and the same.
Now, I mentioned you have a perfect 4.00 GPA. You're majoring in chemical engineering. You have a minor in energy engineering. I would think most people watching the interview don't truly understand what those degrees really mean. Can you explain what these programs are about and how someone can make a difference in the world with them?
Totally, yeah. So chemical engineering is very broad, but traditionally what it's been is how do we take, someone comes up with some sort of chemistry, so they figure out a new product they want to make or a new specialty chemical, or maybe it's a drug that they produce that can help something. And so chemical engineering looks at, these processes and how can we bring them up to a larger scale, or how can we make these economical. That's more traditional chemical engineering. But the cool thing about in learning a lot of these processes about reactions, or about how do you, look at separations and how to take things apart, you learn a lot of really cool techniques that can be applied to a huge variety of areas. So whether it's in drug development or it's in, water treatment, how do you, take lead and other harmful chemicals that we hear about in the news out of the water? How do we make better air filters? Or when ventilators were running short, a lot of chemical engineering professors were looking at ways we could convert alternative technologies into ventilators. So there's all sorts of really cool applications within the major. And I was kind of also at the intersection of energy engineering, which in an age where we're trying to look at our energy and how can we make it last longer, so into the future we're not reliant on scarce resources, and B, how can we avoid climate change and different issues that we see going into our future. So I'm very interested in energy storage and particularly electrochemical battery storage, in which we can potentially take renewable resources and store them in a way that we can use them more effectively. So rather than the intermittent production of solar and wind that we all know that the wind's not always blowing, the sun's not always shining, how can we take advantage of that through energy storage technologies? And so I think that's kind of a key puzzle piece in this overarching problem we're trying to fix. And so getting to look into that and to be a part of that, to me, is really fascinating. And so that's kind of where my interest personally lies within the major and the minor of chemical engineering and energy engineering.
It sounds very fascinating just to listen to that. And I'm obviously not a chemical engineering major. So unfortunately, your spring 2020 season was canceled due to the COVID pandemic. So you didn't get to compete the last season for WashU. But there's a silver lining. You're going to be trading 5 prestigious letters, WashU, for 3 new prestigious letters, MIT. You'll be attending MIT in the fall. You're going to be pursuing a PhD in chemical engineering, and you will be able to use your last year of eligibility running outdoor track and field for MIT in spring 2021. Probably a little bittersweet, but can you explain your emotions about running again in the spring, but for another school?
Totally, yeah. Definitely still a little odd because, I went to WashU with the intent of trying to use all of my eligibility there. And up until this, right before COVID, it seemed like that was going to be what was going to happen. And so obviously it was a little weird of a transition, but frankly, in a time when so many people are going to just lose that time and not have that opportunity to compete, one more time in outdoors or whatever their spring sport was, I'm just grateful that I have another opportunity. And, MIT seems like a great school. I've already talked with some of the coaches and some of the athletes there, and they seem like seems like they have a really great program there. And while, of course, it's never going to be quite the same after I've been, at a program for 4 years and I will only have 1 season with them, I'm just grateful to get a chance to compete with people, to get a chance to, be a part of a group again. And though it will look different, I'm just excited for, to have that privilege and opportunity to compete one more time and to do that alongside what seems like a really cool and wonderful group.
How long is the program for the PhD at MIT?
Yeah, so they're kind of undefined in length per se, because people can finish at different rates depending on how their research is going and what their goals of the PhD are. And so it will kind of vary person to person, but typically they're around 5 years. So it will be 5 years of research and classwork and, some TAing as well, probably. But all that kind of stuff will be taking place over the 5 years.
Well, the last question I have for you is, you've already thanked your parents, you've already thanked your coaches, your teammates, anybody else you'd like to acknowledge for helping you along this journey as a student athlete?
Honestly, a lot of runners just in general in cross country, track and field, I'd like to believe we have one of the most kind-hearted sports where the competitors are really just true sportsmen and just truly incredible people who will hug you after a race. You barely met them and they'll give you a hug after a race and they'll congratulate you when you do well. And having played like every sport when I was a kid, in middle school and stuff, it was just truly beautiful to come into the sport where there's so much respect and so much, love for each other. It's just really cool to see that. And so I just want to thank everyone for making it so exciting and so fun to go to, meets across the country and get to compete at a high level, but also do it in a very fun and respectful way that brings everyone up and doesn't tear people down.
Thank you for that. Thank you to Nick Matteucci of the Washington University in St. Louis men's track and field and cross country teams. He's clearly going to change the world, but first is your 2020 NCAA Division III Men's Track and Field and Cross Country Academic All-American of the Year for 2020.
Thank you so much. It means a ton. Thank you.